Welcome, Jody Grant, back on the Official Tiger Podcast. We are just done with the bye week and getting ready to have our first conference game back in Tiger Stadium after an extended absence. How you been?
Good. Our kids are excited about getting an opportunity to start conference play and back at our place, getting to wear those black uniforms. It's been good. We've had the bye week, and so we've two weeks to kind of get better and prepare for Harbor. Overall, I think it's been the bye week being in September is new for us. I remember sitting on my couch at 7 o'clock on Friday night thinking this is weird. You know, every September at 7 o'clock I've been on the sideline, and it's the first time in 20 years I haven't. I like the bye week in the non-conference. There's a lot of benefits to it. The timing was great for us. We needed to get healthy. We needed an extra week just to prepare and get better. So I like everything about that. It was just kind of a weird feeling for all of our coaches. We talked about that a lot. It's a Friday in September. High school football's being played, and we weren't doing it ourselves. It was just different.
Yeah. So what'd you do with the kids on Friday night? Did you turn them loose or?
Yeah, actually, we brought them in on Friday after school, and we did basically a mock game to an extent, basically conditioning-wise. We did a 4-quarter deal that we do just to get them to, break a sweat and get after it. It was actually very intense. And then we cut them loose. I went to my Tiger Council to kind of see what the vibe of the team was, what they felt like they needed, and they just said maybe the Friday night off and Saturday off would be a benefit to them as a whole. And I didn't completely disagree with that because it's been a grind since the late July, And so they got basically Friday from about 5 on, and we brought them back Monday and been preparing since.
So we've got the Harbor Wildcats coming in. Always a tough game there. They're sitting at 2-1 on the season, lost their first one, but then have come back with 2 straight wins. Tell us about Harbor and what you expect from them.
Yeah, I think Harbor sitting at 2-1 is a pretty good football team. I think initially after their first game against Pulaski Academy, they got beat pretty handily, but I think a lot of people thought they were just maybe a down year for them. I think it's always early to judge a team off first game or second game or even really the first 3 games because everybody's non-conference is different. Pulaski Academy is a great program. They're going to win a lot of football games. Then they ended up going to Russellville and beating a good Class 6A Russellville team at Russellville on the road, and I thought they looked a lot better from 0 week to that week to ended up being week 2. They took a bye week on week 1. And then they went to Pine Bluff on last Friday night, and I thought they actually looked even better then. So they're getting better each week. I think they're playing with some confidence and doing some good things. They're a young group, so with each game they're getting that experience and getting that confidence. So our kids understand that it's a conference opponent, and traditionally Harbor is a top of the conference somewhere, fits in there in the top 1, 2, 3, or 4 each and every year, and I don't anticipate that to be different this year. Our kids understand what we got in front of us.
Now, we watched Harbor at the Union Redskin Classic. Looks like the Harbor of old. A lot of power running, and then they try to take shots down the field. Yeah, I mean, that's them. That's what they're about. They're a power counter outfit, and then they'll throw 500 balls up there and take a chance with their guys. And, I think they tried to be I think initially they hired a new coordinator, and I think their thought was to be a little bit more, multiple offensively. But, after that first game, they didn't score a whole lot of points. They just kind of went with what they know and what they're good at. Their kids know how to run power and counter. They've been doing it since they've been 8th grade. And they do it well. Their linemen understand how to block it regardless of what front you're getting. And they're it's a program thing, and they're sticking to it. So, who knows what we'll get. But they're good at what they do, and that's what I expect us to see is just typical Harbor football. What's the biggest thing you take away from the non-conference? It didn't go like everyone thought, but as we've talked about before, the real season begins tomorrow night when we play some conference foes.
Yeah, the non-conference was tough for us. It was, it didn't go as we had hoped at all. I mean, we knew it would be tough. I don't think we envisioned an 0-3 start, but we learned a lot. We've moved some people around to try to get people in the right spot. We'll have a little bit of a shakeup in our lineup this week just because of what we've done over the last 2 weeks, giving some other people an opportunity, moving some people around, and that doesn't necessarily mean we fired people from the original spot. We're just trying some different things and doing some different groupings of offensively and defensively and just some different stuff. So I think whether you're, like I tell our kids, the non-conference is just that. It's 3 games that prepare you for conference. Whether you're 3-0 or 0-3, it doesn't matter at this point. And I think that's more important when you're 0-3 than when you're 3-0. But I think it's still a valuable thing to take in consideration because none of them matter. It's all about starting right now. And so they understand from weeks 4 to week 10 is our second season. We break it down into 3 seasons, and that's the important one to position us for the third season, which is the playoffs. So our kids are going to have to, we got to continue to grow and develop and play well, and sound like a broken record to say that every week, but that's just the truth. I think we're doing some good things. Our last game against Aledo, they were a top-notch program, and we did some good things, but obviously the score doesn't show that, doesn't indicate that. And I'm not blinded by the fact that we didn't tackle great, and we did some things that you'd hope we wouldn't. But we cut our penalties down from what we were averaging about 11 a game to 1. For me, that's a big deal. We got to start winning the turnover margin. We're losing that battle significantly. So we'll see.
But I think we've seen flashes all the way back to the Midwest City game where we've led some ball games. We've had some moments where the teams have looked really, really good, and it's been the consistency piece. But there again, you put that together, and all of a sudden you're a dangerous football team.
I agree that I think we are a very dangerous 0-3 football team, and I think people in our conference know that. And talking to some of the coaches throughout the conference, it's like even though you hear in the community and out there in the general pop that Bentonville Tigers are 0-3, and I think coaches in our conference know that the championship will still have to go through, the Bentonville Tigers. We're going to be a factor in that. I'd be surprised if we're not. We're going to have to play better football and consistent football, but I think we have the talent to do that. We're just going to piece it all together, and we just need a game where it clicks for us. We need some good things to happen for us. We've had some interesting breaks that don't necessarily go our way, but that'll change, and we'll have some good things happen for us, and our kids understand that.
Everyone's non-conference schedule is different, but everyone plays a non-conference schedule. And we've got some teams that are sitting undefeated, some surprise teams, and some that haven't done as well. Talk to us about the 6A and what you've seen so far in the first 3 weeks and what you expect across the board. It looks like the Central's strong this year.
I think the Central's very strong. I think if we'll start with the 7A Central. I think you're looking at Bryant, who's sitting at 2-1, who's considered a favorite over there, and North Little Rock is sitting at 3-0, and I think they're probably the team to beat in the Class 7A again. Conway, I think a lot of people say that's a surprise at 3-0. I think there's some truth in that. I don't know that they expected to do that. I was kind of hoping they'd be 2-1 at this point. But Cabot's, they're good, and Coach Fogelman over at Little Rock Catholic, he's got them sitting at 3-0, and so there's good football being played over there. Our 3 and 4 seed will have their work cut out for them, just playing their 5s and 6.
Absolutely.
So it's normally flipped. It's normally we're the better of the conferences. I think it's really still too early to tell, but right now that's the way it looks. In our conference, there's good football being played. Fayetteville's sitting at 3-0 and has played quality opponents. Springdale's sitting at 3-0, and a lot of people talk about their non-conference. They have, they've played Alma, they've played Pulaski Robinson, a Little Rock Parkview. I think their collective record, is I know Alma's 0-3, and I think Parkview's 1-2, and I don't know about Robinson. So I think, but watching what I've seen is Springdale's good, and despite who they've played, a lot of people say, well, they're 3-0, but look who they've played. Well, they're 3-0 because they're playing. They're a good football team. Harbor at 2-1, and then Rogers is. I think they had one canceled, so I think they're sitting at 1-1, and Heritage is 0-3. We're 0-3, and Bentonville West is 0-3. But I think if you ask a lot of the coaches in the conference, I still think they expect Bentonville and Bentonville West to be competitive in this thing, and you never know. I think that's the beauty of this conference is it starts off right away with us playing Harbor, and